Get all of your NHL playoff action at Sports Interaction. Before the game starts, live and play, or if you just want to know how your favorite player will perform. Doing it right since 1997, Sports Interaction is Canada's sportsbook. With the most competitive odds, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDP. sportsinteraction.com/SDP. 19 plus, please play responsibly. Which superstar is under more pressure to win their series? Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid? Who's under more pressure?
Well, today it's Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is down 3-2 as we're recording this.
That is true.
So I think there's more. Like, the cool thing with the playoffs is the energy changes every day. The way you look at it, it's like taking a snow globe and looking at it from a different angle every day, right? Like, it's the same picture inside, but you're seeing it from a different side. And so I think Connor McDavid's under more pressure. He's 1 year further into his career. His team's down 3-2. That's not to say if we did another episode in 2 days, which I know we're not doing, you got your weekend off here, but Austin Matthews by game, if there's a game 7, I might say it differently, but I think Connor McDavid's under more pressure. I think the Oilers franchise is under more pressure. No disrespect to the Kings. Like, I mean that literally, but I just think that's a series Edmonton's supposed to win. There's if the Leafs lose to the Lightning, I think people will go like, yeah, they won 3 out of 7 games, and the Lightning have won 2 straight cups. Those are badass players. This is supposed to be a series, and I feel for Connor McDavid because he's not doing anything wrong. Like, he led that comeback the other night. I only caught the third period of their game 5 loss, and they roar back. Like, Zach Kassian scores a goal, but Connor McDavid does all the work on that goal. And so, yeah, I think Connor McDavid's under more heat. But let's face it, stars everywhere are under heat. Like, that's what the playoffs is. It's like you're under a magnifying glass, and if you're supposed to be a player that produces, whether it's Kucherov or Matthews or McDavid, Kirill Kaprizov, like he's showing up big for the Wild, but they're down 3-2 as well when we're recording this. Yep. So, like, all these guys are feeling pressures that most of us in our life don't experience. And it's a piece of rubber on ice, hockey, right? It bounces around on ice. Like, it's a hard thing to control when you think about it. Like, if you boil hockey down to what it is, you're trying to control something you can't really control. That's what the whole game is. And the best control it for moments in time, right? Like the best can settle a puck and do something crazy with it and score a goal. But, I've always thought this, like, you watch a fourth line player at a morning skate, Julian, like, closely, they're all sick. Like, the way a fourth line player can shoot the puck, I'm serious. Like they would game anyone anywhere. Like, just to get to the NHL is crazy. But you don't see those guys doing the game because it's so fast and they can't control it. But the top guys control it for moments. Like, it's like a minute. I don't have the numbers on that, but I think, like, the puck is on, like, Connor McDavid's stick for like a minute in a game of 6, or even less. But he can do something with that minute that has us talking about him, that has him getting paid a lot of money, all these things. So that's really what we're talking about. Who's under more pressure? Like, who can do what with their minute tonight? And it's sometimes I sit around having existential hockey thoughts, and I'm like, it's a crazy sport because we talk about individual players, but they have so little time to do anything. And so, yeah, I think Connor's under the heat probably more than Austin, but everybody's under heat right now. Like, this is tense. This is where you're like, what happens now will dictate how we talk about these guys in the future too. Like, it's crazy, but there's so much pressure to win. There's 32 teams. Like, how do you win?
You just do it. You have to find a way to do it. And what I find is funny, even though Austin Matthews has that 3-2 series lead, the fact that the Leafs have had series leads before, whether with him or not, whether it's the fan you meet in the airport who wants to name their child Wendell, like, Tic-Tac Tomar. Have you seen him? I mean, we talk about Steve Dangle suffering. Tic-Tac Tomar broke his, like, plastic, like, Stanley Cup running through his entire house, like, breaking stuff. If they win that series, all hell's going to break loose in Toronto. That's why I feel the pressure's more on him. If the Oilers lose this series, Connor McDavid's done as much as he could but Ken Holland is going to get more of the brunt of the blame for this. I don't know if Connor McDavid's going to get all that.
Here's the thing, though, and I say this with respect. I'm not sure that Austin Matthews probably understands all that. And how could he? Well, he's 24 years old, and he's from Scottsdale, Arizona. Like, obviously, he knows the Leafs. He's played 300 games or what have you for the Leafs ballpark. Like, he knows, like, every road game that he goes to, that there's a bunch of fans, like, he gets stopped. He has a feeling for the fan base. I don't think he knows what 18 years is. Like, he doesn't – how could he know? Again, he hasn't suffered it. It's not his fault. But, like, he probably has no idea what's going to happen if they win. I'll tell you, I bumped into Rasmus Sandin, who's not playing the series for the Leafs, in the press box intermission of Game 5. And we had a chat. You know, and Rasmus, I think Rasmus is 22. Like, he's a baby. And he was saying, like, he had no idea about the fans. You know, like, it's not a bad thing. It's just, like, these guys – they live in their world. Their job is to be ready to play these games and all the things that come with that. Like, I don't think that they have time to sit around and think about all this. And so, again, if it happens, they'll probably be stunned by what they see. You know, I was in university the early 2000s, the Pac-Win teams, and it was regular for Yonge Street, which is the main thoroughfare in Toronto for anyone who doesn't live there. Whenever they would win, like, literally Yonge Street closed. Like, people just went and walked and partied and high-fived. Like, it would not surprise me if that's what happens if the Leafs win a playoff series. It might even be more than that. I was on the streets when the Raptors won a championship a few years ago. It was bananas. Like, it was actually crazy. And so let's not confuse winning one round versus winning a championship. But
right,
I literally think there will be thousands of people in the streets. That's my prediction. And so I don't think Austin Matthews has time to sit around. Like, on a day like this, he's preparing for a game. He's thinking about his matchup. He's thinking about his power play assignment, all this stuff. I don't think he has any clue. I don't think he knows that. He's not really thinking about the guy naming his kid Wendell in the airport. He's not thinking about people that have watched. You know, it's been 6,596 days. He's not thinking about how long.
Thought about this a lot.
What's that?
You've thought about this a lot.
Well, this is the Leafs in the Matthews era. The Leafs are 0-7 in elimination games. There's been 7 other times they had a chance to win a series and didn't. So, yeah, I've thought about it a lot because I have to write about it. I have to talk about it. You know, I've lived it too. Basically my whole career, the first game I covered as a journalist was Game 5 in the second round against Ottawa, 2002. I was an intern at the Canadian Press. So I covered this team when they were in the playoffs then. But, you know, my whole career has spanned this time. And I've earned these white hairs, but I know you don't like me mentioning my age.
You've mentioned that a few times.
I've been around a bit. Is all I'm saying. And so, yeah.
What are your CP initials?
CEJ.
CEJ. Yeah.
For
those I was JZM. For context, if you worked at the Canadian Press, which is the national newswire service in Canada, in America, you know, the Associated Press. So the CP is the equivalent. If you work for them, whether part-time, full-time, whatever, you get these like 3-letter initials that are based off your name. So you had CEJ and I had JZM.
Yeah. And basically you're known by them. Back in the day, I don't know if this is still the case, you could type in someone's just 3 initials and you could email them using just the initials. Yeah, I was CEJ. So
I think Pierre was PVL.
Pierre was PVL. I worked with Pierre.
Yes.
Neil Stevens, who I worked with, who unfortunately just passed, he was NXS. Neil Davidson was NXD. Julie Scott was JCS. Shai Davidi was SHD. Like, it's weird. Like, this is like imprinted like in my brain after many, many years what everybody's initials were, because that's how you went and how you referred to each other.